Hey everyone, welcome back. This is week 16, and we are almost at the end of this year. We only have a few more weeks left, and we're going to talk about chapter 5, journal entries. So let's go ahead and look at that today. So we can go to classwork, and there is no additional assignment. It is actually going to be under our daily journal unit, and it's going to be under the same I guess, assignment as Unit 4 general entries, and it's just been updated. So if you look at this, there's going to be an additional slides to add, and you're going to be watching, obviously, you're going to be watching our instructional video on Chapter 5 journals, okay? So this is all for Chapter 4, and now we have Chapter 5 here, and you're just going to add those slides. So let's go ahead and look at those slides. All right, so chapter 5 units slides are going to be added to journal 4 and 5. I can't say that enough. And you're going to just kind to complete these based on what we're going to be accomplishing about our chapter on imperialism. And so we're going to be looking at some questions, but we're going to be talking about a method called question formation technique, also called QFT. And through the QFT, this is actually how you're going to complete these political cartoons. And starting off, you're not going to tell me what you see. You're going to tell me what questions you can ask about these pictures. So look at this picture and think about the questions you're going to be asking about that. So you're going to be asking as many questions as you can. And so you're going to jot them down. Don't stop to discuss or judge or answer. Just make sure you start with a lot of questions. So then you get into what's going on in this picture and then change any statement. So you could say there's a blackboard at the back of the room. Okay, you might want to change that statement to something like, "What kind of writing is on that blackboard in the back of the room?" Or "Is that a blackboard in the back of the room?" So you want to change any statement into a question. So you start thinking about these in more of a dialogue, and then you are able to kind of get more out of this picture. So really kind of look at the picture and as many questions as you can. And that is actually the question formation technique. We're going to be going through that technique all week for week 16 so that you have more practice at it. Okay. So maybe you don't want to start this journal until we start discussing it or until we kind of start practicing more QFT. The second and third slide are going to be about quotes. So we're going to be talking about colonialism. So first, read these three quotes. Okay, so you have Ian Smith, you have the late and great Chadwick Boseman, and then you have Lupita Nyong'o. And so you're going to be they're going to be quoting ideas about colonialism. So you're going to be asking, what is colonialism? Okay, and that is the first part of that question. So you're going to answer that here based on what they have told you about it. Okay, so define it. Maybe you want to look it up, but really you want to kind of just gauge based on what you see here. And then you're going to analyze the quotes that were given. So it's the same three quotes. Okay, so this one by Ian Smith, this is one from Bosman, and this one from Nwanga. And so you want to think about what and how to analyze these, okay? So each quote, talk about them and write at least 2 to 3 sentences on what you think they're mentioning. Is it a positive or negative outlook? And really use the sentence frames. For example, parts I agree with are when Smith talks about, and then and parts I disagree with is when Smith, or the first quote, talks about, and think about if there's things that you like, you agree with or disagree with, and why. And so think about the writer and speaker. The writer and speaker wants us to consider, or you can replace that with the writer Boseman, okay, talks about colonialism as, and then think about what you want to consider in what you're saying. So use the sentence frame to complete these three quotes. Try to use a different quote sentence frame for each quote. So think about using maybe this one for number one. Maybe you want to use number this one for number three, and then maybe number two you could use number two from the sentence frames, and try to use and practice those different sentence frames to help you get a better dialogue or at least say something a little bit more concisely about what you see in the post. Okay. All right, the last part is very simple. It's very straightforward. You're going to be doing vocabulary, and so you want to be looking for a few items based on this list. Okay, so you're going to locate these words on page 257 to 250 to 257 in your orange world history hardback book. Okay, so you can't miss it. That's the big one. And make sure that you also check the slides from our Nearpod for some of these words. Okay, so they do actually they do actually come up a few times, but make sure that you're looking at them and defining them. You could Google them, but I think it'd be better you take it from the book. It is better so that you have the exact idea of what the textbook and also what we are discussing, as we're going to be using those definitions for our quizzes and even our final. Okay, so think about that and make sure that you are understanding what these are talking about and make sure you know where to find it. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email or discuss that or bring that up very soon when we see you. Okay? So thank you for your time, guys, and please make sure you try to get these finished. We're going to be adding just a few more slides to finish off the journals for the next couple weeks. All right? So thank you for your time. Bye.